Have you ever picked up a book that made you laugh out loud one moment, made you cry the next, and 10 pages later made you cringe? Me neither. But Boy's Life by Robert McCammon did exactly that. I picked up the 600-page novel and devoured it in 3 days. 3 days, and that is very quick for me. I'm a slow reader. I couldn't put it down. And by the time I finished it, I already knew this is S tier for sure. 100% 5-star book. And today I'm going to tell you why.
Joe's probably reading.
So this is the prompt from my TBR dungeon game that got me to read this book. You can read it here. Achievement, emotional damage, new achievement, voluntary suffering. The system questions why you would choose this, but respects your chaos. Pick a book that will make you feel something. Tears, rage, existential dread, dealer's choice. I already knew this book was going to be one of those books. And every one of these emotions I felt and more. So what is Boy's Life about? It's a novel set in the early to mid 1960s in the town of Zephyr, Alabama. Our narrator is an 11-year-old boy named Cory, and he's got a wild imagination and a deep love of storytelling. So you don't really know, is what he's talking about something he really witnessed, or is it something that he imagined? The book kicks off with Cory and his father, Tom. They're on an early morning milk delivery route, and through the trees comes barreling a car that rolls right across the road and into the lake, into Saxon's Lake. And Cory's dad, Tom, jumps out of the truck and dives to try to save whoever's in the car. And he notices the guy is beaten to a pulp and he is handcuffed. And he is nobody anyone has ever seen before. The only recognizable part is a tattoo. That is the only clue that Tom has to his identity. And this haunts Tom throughout the entire book. It puts in an underlying mystery of who murdered this guy and why. But here's the thing. Boy's Life is so much more than a murder mystery. It's a coming-of-age story. It's a love letter to small-town America and the magic of childhood. It's part horror, part fantasy, part nostalgia trip. And somehow Robert McCammon makes it all work seamlessly. All right, let's just get into it. I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to try to break it down for you because there was nothing about this book I didn't like. McCammon's prose was absolutely beautiful. There are passages in there that completely just stop me dead in my tracks. He has the ability to describe a summer morning, riding your bikes with your friends, the sound of a baseball hitting a mitt that just feels electric. And the way he writes about childhood brings you back to that time when you believed in magic, when you believed in monsters, and you believed that everything was infinitely possible. The way that it's written, it makes you ache for a time that you know you can't go back to. And while this book takes place in the early 60s, well before my time, as a kid that grew up in the 70s and 80s, I felt that nostalgia too. So even if you grew up in the 80s or 90s or 2000s, there's that feeling of childhood that you're going to get back with this book. This book has one of the richest casts of characters I've ever read. Cory is a fantastic narrator. He's curious, he's brave, he's very smart, and unmistakably a kid. The things that this kid gets away with, that was probably one of my little nits in the book, but it works. He had pretty much everybody in the town after him at one point, but somehow he came through just fine. His father, Tom, was deeply human, and he is haunted by what he witnessed in the lake throughout the entire story, and it wrecks him, and you feel that emotion. You feel for him. And the town of Zephyr itself, it's kind of a character of its own. If you try to imagine a southern town in the 60s, in a time of civil unrest, a time of racism, you kind of get the idea. And this is written very well. Cory and his friends feel real. Every one of them is either somebody you knew as a kid or it might be yourself. Some characters I wanted much more on. A novel, a novella, even a short story, as the brief glimpses that we got were so compelling, and I just wanted so much more. Like the lady and the Moon Man. There is obviously a great backstory for these folks, and I haven't read a lot of or any Robert McCammon books besides this one, so he might have delved into some of these characters in other books. But I want to hear the lady and the Moon Man's story. And Nemo, I love that kid. And his very brief part of the book was one of my favorite parts. I wanted so much more of this kid. I wanted to see where he came from, where he went. And there was one scene with a baseball, and you know what it is if you read this book, that I wish he would have thrown that ball. And I wish we would have seen the story go a different direction from there. But I do like the way it went. He was just awesome. The tonal range is what really sets Boy's Life apart. One moment you're reading about a hilarious scene about a monkey loose in a church, and the next a scene of genuine horror. Creatures in the river, a man in the bottom of the lake, the KKK. McCammon tackles racism and civil rights with real weight and sensitivity, right alongside scenes of pure childhood wonder. And there are moments that will just break your heart. I won't spoil anything, but I guess trigger warning, people die. There is a few times where you're going to have to deal with death and dying, and seeing that from a child's perspective, it's going to get to you. It definitely got to me. And, I'm not going to lie. I'm manly, so I don't cry, but I cried. But this book earned every one of those tears. Cory's exploits throughout the book are a blast, and they're, blast from the past, in my case. Camping trips that went wrong, facing down bullies, a runaway rhino. I never had to deal with that. Or a magic bicycle. It reads like the best kind of childhood fever dream. Every chapter brings something new and unexpected. And that's why the 600-page book felt more like 200 pages. I want to touch on the mystery without giving anything away. The central question of who killed the man in the lake runs throughout the entire book as an undercurrent, but is not the central theme. It's not the only thing driving the story. It just helps pull the story forward. And the resolution, incredibly satisfying. McCammon plants seeds early, but when the truth is finally revealed, it's shocking, it's heartbreaking, and it makes perfect sense. It ties the larger themes of the novel together in a way that elevates the entire story. So who is this book for? If you love coming-of-age stories in the vein of Stand By Me or To Kill a Mockingbird, you need this book. If you love Stephen King or Ray Bradbury, you need this book. And if you're someone who thinks that a book can only be one thing, either funny or scary or sad, this book's going to blow that idea completely out of the water. So you might want to avoid it, but I doubt it. You'll love it. It's everything all at once, and it works. Now, of course, with 600 plus pages, it's not a short book, but the pacing is just amazing. And it reads like 200 to 300 page book. To give you an idea, I sat down 3 days in with 150 pages left in the book, figuring, okay, I'm going to take 3 more days to finish this thing. I sat down and finished it. 150 pages in one sitting, up until 1 o'clock in the morning doing it, and it was so worth it. People talk about Stephen King's It and Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes. A Boy's Life absolutely belongs in that conversation. So yeah, Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. Absolute 5 stars, S tier, absolute masterpiece of storytelling. My favorite book of the year so far. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me cringe, but most importantly, it made me remember what it felt like to be a kid who believed in magic. I can't recommend this book highly enough. If you've already read Boy's Life, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Keep it spoiler free, If you haven't read it, pick it up. You won't regret it, I promise. As usual, I'm going to close this video with a little snippet of a song I made inspired by this book. Spoiler free. Okay, maybe spoiler light. And I'll leave a link to the full song in the description below. This one has a bit of a 60s rock feel, appropriate to the time. Enjoy, and keep reading.
Oh, the magic we saw through a young boy's eyes before the innocence started to fade.